growing up in the late 2000s, my first experience with Nintendo games came from when I got a 3DS for Christmas. This would lead to countless unforgettable nights of me playing games with my siblings and friends. But they weren't always around, so I would be stuck playing single-player games like Animal Crossing or Super Mario 3D Land, and while I enjoyed them, there was one aspect that was missing. And if you've been insane like me about this upcoming game coming out to the Nintendo Switch in a couple of days, you already know I'm talking about the Miis. Now, there are countless videos out there going into the insane lore of these little avatars, but for today's video, I would like to focus on one game series that homes them in particular, that being Tomodachi Life. Tomodachi Life is a comedic life simulation game based on the avatars used on the Wii and the Wii U. When the game came out in 2014, I had just turned 7 years old, and at the time, I had already played games like Wii Sports Resort and Wii Party, both with Miis. Now, I can't be the first person to say that there is a charm of playing games where instead of being a character like Mario or Sonic, you could be yourself. Like, I don't know why that aspect is just so crazy to me, especially at the time when I was just starting to get into games. I never knew that I could be in the game. I was fully immersed. And through that aspect of playing as myself, I had noticed one thing about these characters. Besides the games they appear in, filling them with life, they were lifeless. Before Tomodachi Life, Miis were exactly what they were programmed to be, avatars. Yes, they would appear in some titles, hitting it off with Wii Sports, not only one of the best-sold Nintendo games, but one of the top 5 best-sold games of all time. But outside of the sports and the parties and the games themselves, they would be in a white void. Of course, with any old avatar system, people don't really care what happens with their avatar, but there was something about seeing your creation taking down foes in a sword fight, playing on a board game with a bunch of different CPU Miis you would end up breaking your stuff over.
It's gonna let her roll! She only needs the sets! What's the point? You're just wasting everybody's time! Wasting everyone's
And then after all that, they returned to their white, desolate void. I mean, I couldn't have been the only one for my age that saw all these characters and all these different scenarios and maybe wished that they had something more to them. Well, fear not, younger me, I have a brand new game to show you that just really— wait, what the fuck is that? Okay, I may have gone a little too fast in saying that Miis were fully void of emotion, because in Japan, before the Wii was fully even released, a game by the name of Tomodachi Collection was being brought up. At this time, this game served as the birthplace of the Miis, functioning as a way to test the concept of having this character creator on this brand new system before bringing them up to be what they are today. Now, I felt it necessary to talk about this before talking about Tomodachi Life, as not that many people invested in Tomodachi Life would know about this predecessor, and it basically served the framework for what became the Tomodachi Life we all know. The game never made it over to the US and was exclusive to Japan, releasing in 2009, almost exactly 5 years before Tomodachi Life on the 3DS came out. Which, honestly, that fact alone blew my mind. I mean, I started really diving deeper into Tomodachi Life 2 or 3 years ago, and finding out there was another one really confused me. Playing the game after already playing through Tomodachi Life felt like a fever dream. Not just the fact that the Miis talked in Japanese in this very overbearing Vocaloid voice, but the dreams, the cutscenes, the charm, it was all what laid the groundwork for what made Tomodachi Life such an amazing game. This track I'm playing right now is what they used to revamp the new Tomodachi Life Mii editor. Here sits a little island in the middle of the ocean. Those are the first words you see when opening this game for the first time. It puts you perfectly into a spot of isolation that makes you anticipate something, before being able to name your island and get going by creating a Mii lookalike. When I was creating myself, I was having so much fun messing with the voice to see how messed up I could make it, before finding one that matched mine and inputting info into the personality quiz. Looking back after having created and not continuing so many islands, I feel like the amount of time I spent just creating Miis alone took up most of the enjoyment I had when playing for the first time. I know a lot of people don't like the decision Nintendo made for the newest Tomodachi Life's Mii sharing being set to local play, but I honestly disagree. I mean, when I started learning how to get Miis from QR codes, it felt like less effort was put into making the Miis, and having that envy for other people's good-looking Miis made me feel like I needed to have it that way as well. But there is something to take away from when you create a Mii. You get to feel like you made something personal that will make your island feel more lively and more your own. And yes, someone will probably make something like the Mona Lisa in comparison to your own work, but your island is your island. You decide how someone looks, how they talk, how they act, how they speak, so don't feel ashamed if you create a Mii your way. Of course, we can't move past this game's lack of same-sex relationships and other mistakes that cut off a good portion of its audience, but luckily, these changes are made in the new game, so I'll speak more on it later. But with the Mii creation out of the way, you are now the overseer of this small little paradise in the sea. You'll unlock shops that will help you feed and customize your Mii's living experience from their clothes to their apartment setup. Not only that, but upon leveling up your Miis, you can give them songs that they can perform at the concert hall, a new apartment style, an item that you can see them using either by themselves or with others, a catchphrase they will occasionally say, or some spare change that once you give them 10,000 of, they will have enough money to fly to space. I think I've only ever done that once though. But honestly, where most of this game's pacing really starts to build for me is when you have your first heart bubble on the island. So, love is in the air, your Miis already became friends, but it looks like one of them likes another one. Now, if you're like me and you've been waiting for this moment, then it's not only the Mii stressed out, it's you too. And let's be honest, how could you not feel this way with the heart thumping in the background? Honestly, it's so funny how dramatic some of these scenes end up becoming, because you don't expect the character to show up out of nowhere, but then they just do, and it's crazy. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it will go horribly wrong, but that's the fun that shows up in the love of Tomodachi Life. This will definitely be one of the things that I'm looking forward to in the new game. But anyway, moments like those fly by, and after many different trial and error runs, your Mii will finally want to get married. After doing a stressful heart-pumping, and I mean literal heart-pumping minigame, you finally made it to unlocking the houses. These relaxing estates right next to the apartment building serve as a way for a married couple to live together. This little inclusion of grouping Miis together felt like the relationships that you had a hand in were actually able to feel like relationships. After enough time, they will even consider having a baby, which means watching the ugly combination of how two weird-looking Miis turns out. You watch this baby grow and grow before finally becoming an adult and being presented with a credit scene to show you have made it as far as you can. And for what Tomodachi Life offers, that's a pretty good explanation of how the game will treat you to a hilarious, unforgettable time. I highly recommend playing this game on your own so you can have your own personal experience with it. But if you feel like watching other people's insane playthroughs, I quickly want to talk about some of my personal favorites. With the newest Tomodachi Life game being announced March of last year, that means there was over a decade's wait between the old game and the new one. Now, there's only so much I can do with a social simulation game, and when I would get bored of my own island, I had a couple of options for some other entertaining ones. For example, I believe the oldest Tomodachi Life island I remember watching was with Swimming Bird, Oh My Kawaii, and Vine Sauce. They each had their own unique island to be able to bounce back and forth with. I also remember sitting under the dining room table with my Wii U gamepad watching YouTube and finding all these different islands to laugh at and enjoy. Seeing all these fictional characters that I knew, watching them become couples, and the drama that unfolded between them will always hold a special place in my heart. I also just realized recently that Vine Sauce has a whole wiki dedicated to his Tomodachi Life series, with pages dedicated for each character. Talk about commitment. But anyway, later on I remember getting into a YouTuber called Poofesher, with a lot of his Wii playthroughs capturing my attention. So when he got into Tomodachi Life, where he put all the CPU Miis he absolutely despised, it was another feel-good island I would be able to watch off and on. The last YouTuber I feel inclined to talk about in this video is Smash Tomatoes, who doesn't have a public playthrough of Tomodachi Life, but has made so many videos talking about the game that I feel like I couldn't get through this video without mentioning him for all the cool videos that he's made. But if I'm being real, there are so many other shining examples of Tomodachi Life creators, and if you would have liked to see me mention a different one, then please leave it down in the comments below. Also, if you're this far in the video, let me know if I should do more of this style of video, as this is my first video I've really put production into, so any advice going forth is well appreciated. But anyway, with that out of the way, I would like to talk about the new Tomodachi Life game. To be more specific, since this is a tribute to Tomodachi Life as a whole, I feel like I should talk about all three games. I've already talked about the first two, so here we go into talking about the third game.
This is exactly what I've been waiting for.
This intro, bro. There's nothing I can say. It has captured the vibe perfectly. We are, in fact, living the dream. Right off the bat, when I was playing the demo and heard this song, long story short, it's over. Game of the Year 2026, just hurry up and give it to them. Nintendo has given us so much information about this game, and I feel like they need to lock me up in an insane asylum. I'm going insane.
I need it!
Like, it's so much more customizable. More hairstyles, more head and eye shapes, ears, makeup, and yes, they finally gave the people what they promised. More gender and sexuality options. I'm so happy that in the overview trailer, they put it out front and center and kept their promise. And continued on by adding pronouns as well. We love to see it, Nintendo. They also did what I thought was a smart move by making the makeup similar, but not more limited than the Miitopia makeup. Because not only do I feel like you now need to use the essential Mii features more, but now I don't have to worry about what god-awful babies 2 Miis caked in makeup would look like. With the game being open world and more customizable than ever, we are going to be seeing some crazy well-made islands, I already know it. This game is definitely showing itself up as a worthy successor to the Tomodachi Life series, and I honestly don't really have that many flaws I can point out. However, if you didn't already know, the expected Mii limit will be 70, and while many people seem bothered by it, I personally understand it. I mean, this is a Switch 1 game after all, and compared to the 3DS game where Miis would mainly teleport around, this game is open world, which means a lot more things are getting loaded at once, and so 70 Miis all walking around doing their own thing sounds like enough to me. I also hope that when it comes to the personality types, there's a little bit more of a difference, as with the 3DS game, other than some dialogue and animation, each personality kind of blends together, and even then the little quirks seems like they're gonna be the fill-in for how you can differentiate between specific Miis, but I do hope that some of these personality features do appear a little bit more innately. Other than that, people, we have less than a week till this game comes out. It's honestly crazy for me to even say that. So if you can't hold back your urge any longer, I would try the original Tomodachi Life on 3DS, as the sad truth is, once this new game releases, this old game is going to cease to exist. Let's be honest, people, the original Tomodachi Life wasn't a perfect game by any means. Nintendo themselves made that clear, and what ended up happening? They pushed it further, and gave us the changes that we saw when we were playing a game on a limited console. That's the big takeaway from this entire video. Because even though when Tomodachi Collection released, and no one in America knew about the game, people still found it. Nintendo brought it to America, and it was obvious how much love it obtained. It took a long time for this new game to come out, but even then it fulfilled the puzzle pieces the old game lacked. This new game will have flaws. There will be things that people want, but what I love about the Tomodachi Life series is that they have always found a way to make this never-ending paradise feel so much better. And this last chapter, my friends, that's for you to make. Create the Miis you've always wanted to. Experience a game that can always bring you back to a wacky and unforgettable world. And always remember, no matter where you are in your pursuit of creation, be happy. Thank you for watching.